put in the chat what got you interested in attending today's webinar, and we want to hear from you. Okay, live streaming. Give this 1 sec. I promise I won't sing the whole time or make cute noises the whole time. So, all right, it says it is live streaming. Awesome. Cool. Very cool. All right, Henri's on his way. He's restarting his computer. So we are good. How is everyone doing? Is the chat working? Can someone post in the chat just so I can make sure that it's working? Hi, Dee. Hi, folks. Welcome, welcome. We'll get started really soon. We are just working on making sure we get all of our settings set up, and then we're also going to, Henri's on his way, so I hope he's here soon. Hi, folks, and folks are posting in the chat. Thanks, Yaj. Appreciate it. Hey, Gil. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jen. Amanda, Bennett, Beverly, Clayton, Janal. Hi. Hi. Hello. We're just waiting for our guest to come up, Henri Davis. He is just restarting his computer. As always, there's tech problems. Is my mic okay also? Is my mic good? Let me know if you have any challenges with the sound, and I'll move the computer much closer to my face is how I'll fix it. Okay, cool. Thanks, Amanda. Awesome. No problem. How's everyone's day going while we wait? Can go higher. Okay, Pete, I'll bring it a little closer. I'm trying not to yell. I'm wearing a suit and I'm in a WeWork, so. Oh, Monique, those are great questions. I'm literally grabbing them. Yes, those are excellent. Thank you for posting those. If anyone has questions, so Monique posted in the chat, it only went to the hosts and the panelists, so only I saw it. But if anyone has questions, I'm going to run us through quick housekeeping once Henri joins. And yeah, make sure to post those questions. We are going to answer them. I'm literally putting them into my prep document right now. So thank you, Monique. Awesome. Excited that you're tuning in, Cassidy. Also, I don't know if we're going live on LinkedIn, but that's okay. We're going to do a replay. And we're going to also have this on our podcast, the Breaking Through in Cybersecurity Marketing podcast, which is on the Cyberwire Network, which is awesome. Yeah. Oh, Yaj. Yaj? Sorry, I don't know how to say it, but I'm sorry. I booked like a room with a door that closes so that I could like block out all the sound. Hi, Henri. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I love your setup so much. I'm so jealous. I'm at a WeWork right now.
There's
Trying
some
to
creative
travel.
things you can do in there.
Yeah, there's just a sus like piece of furniture in the back, and I'm like, I don't want that in the back of my video. I'd rather have a blank wall. Thank you so much for coming. All right. We are so excited, everyone. Before we begin, of course, like I'm going to go through a little housekeeping, the shortest PowerPoint presentation just to set the stage. Literally like 2 minutes. So don't worry. And then let me just, because I want to explain what we're here, what we're trying to do, and also give a little bit of an intro to Henri and his podcast. So give me 1 second, folks. All right. It's PowerPoint. So, or it's a PDF today. So that's why it looks like this. All right. So welcome to our series, Behind the Cyber Creator. We basically, in conjunction with our friends at Mishka Agency, Yulia Garanko, being the founder of that, and I'll go into what they do in just a minute. We have created this monthly series where we bring on cybersecurity creators to talk to the marketers, right? A lot of you are marketers. Some of you may not be, because some of you might be Henri's fans or people who listen to his podcast, right? But if you listen to us, to our media, to the Cybersecurity Marketing Society, or you're part of the community, or you listen, you watch our webinars, then you're most likely a marketer in cybersecurity. And as a marketer in cyber, a lot of us aim to be good at security content and, influencing our buyers and getting the word out there and engaging audiences. And sometimes we don't hit the mark. So we have started this creator series to bring on folks who are the experts in the industry on cybersecurity content, on building cyber audiences, and on just being like really awesome to come speak to us. And we're so grateful for the time of all the amazing creators who are part of this series. Wow, I can really work a computer today. And what is the Cybersecurity Marketing Society? We are an organization of more than 4,400 members at 1,600 cybersecurity companies. We exist to help marketers be successful in the cybersecurity industry, not the olive oil industry, not B2B marketing. We are specifically focused on cybersecurity because if marketers can't help market very helpful security products and services, then the bad guys win. And that's our mission. So we're here to help marketers be successful. We do events, education. We host these cool webinars. We have an annual conference, Cyber Marketing Con. Last year, we had 700 folks come out, and we hope to see you there. It'll be November 15th through 18th in Austin, Texas this year. We want to thank Mishka really fast. Yulia Gorenko is a friend of mine, and Mishka is an incredible agency. They represent brands who want to work with influencers. So they help brands connect with security influencers and creators and get really great campaigns put together. So totally recommend them. We've worked with them directly, and Yulia and team is freaking excellent. Just truly, truly excellent. We love working with them. Thank you, Yulia and Mishka. And of course, we'll include all their link in the post email as well, so you can reach out. Housekeeping. Also, Mishka gives away a sweatshirt for every webinar for anyone who asks the best question. So make sure to ask a really juicy question on that topic. Yes, questions, we want them. We want your questions. That's the point of like an AMA style live stream, right? Come and make comments, put the Q&A in the bottom, send it to us directly if you're nervous. But put those questions in the chat. And then yes, this is recorded and it will actually be available in two places. One on our website and on our YouTube, but then also this will become a new podcast episode on the Breaking Through in Cybersecurity Marketing podcast on the CyberArt Network. So stay tuned. We'll, of course, include that link. Okay, I am so excited for today's guest. Henri Davis is just like the coolest person in the world. He is the host of the co-host of the Textual Talk podcast and also owns the Textual Chatter YouTube channel. And for those of you who might not know what that is, it is a cybersecurity focused media. I'm going to call you a media company, Henri. I mean, I hope that's not overstepping, but a
No, that's what I
media,
say.
yeah, a media organization, and it covers all sorts of things, everything from news, a cybersecurity news, live streams, hot takes. You can listen to them on Spotify to wherever podcast stream. You can watch videos on YouTube. It is a content machine. Henri does such a great job and gets such great engagement. All right, I'm going to pull this slides down. It's not a presentation. We're having a conversation here. So yeah, too many questions, right, Yulia? So Henri, first question for you. How did you get started with this?
Yeah, so I believe it was 2020. I was expecting my first daughter to come into the world, and of course, that's the pandemic. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Okay, what am I also going to do um, to help provide and do some other things for her? Because the current role I was at before that, I had got laid off from my first security role. So I was always trying to be kind of a couple steps ahead just in case anything ever bad ever happened in my career. And I realized that one, there wasn't a lot of cyber content out there. And two, there wasn't a lot of people looking like me talking about it out there. So I saw those two things, and I initially just started off with giving people a background on me, how I got into cybersecurity, what major I chose in college, my first job, which was help desk, my first security job, what did I learn that job, interviewing for security roles. So I kind of went through this process of giving my background and telling people about me. And then, I started growing. And then from there, I decided that, okay, let's try interview style podcast with mostly tech professionals, but primarily with cybersecurity professionals because that's what people come to the channel for. And so we've covered everything from SOC analysts, incident response, SIM engineers, threat hunters, security researchers, like you name it. So we had all these different type of people on here. And then we've also had like a lot of GRC episodes, GRC engineering, and going and going. And then outside of that, I was like, well, I want to do something else with the show. I was like, everybody's doing a lot of interview style stuff, which is fine, but how do I establish myself in a different vein where people look forward to whatever day I drop, maybe like a Monday or Sunday, they'll drive to work and listen to us like we're an actual show. And then so that's why I pivoted and said, okay, we're going to talk about the biggest cyber threats, or we are going to talk about stuff that's happening in the world of business that is affecting people in their job search, career advice, things that we didn't know. And then we mix up a little bit of pop culture in there when we can.
I love that. And I like that is gutsy to do the news show because an interview show, and to be very clear, I have an interview show. An interview show is easier, I think, than like a news show, like a quote unquote, not a real show, but like a show where you have to do like a lot more research and like stay on top of the news
Mhm.
and do just honestly more planning. An interview show, we can plan like 2 months in advance, but a news, like a topical topic show, you have to do like the week of. How did you start that?
Yeah, so when I first started doing it, it was more so of I would kind of I have well before that I had like a Slack channel, and so I had all these different websites sending me security news to certain channels, and so I would just get a high
Mhm.
level overview of what I wanted to talk about, and then from there, when we would do the episodes, I would just share my screen and we kind of go through the article, and it was an easier way like that. But as we started doing more and we want to be a little bit more engaging, and this is like one of the ways that as a team of one, how we are able to pump out so much content is we started utilizing a lot of AI. So I play around with the formats, I play around with how engaged my audience may be based on topics, or are we staying on topics too long? And like I said, I want to make it like a news podcast slash, not necessarily, we don't really debate, but our show probably be more like maybe like first things first type of deal, where a lot of times you have right now we don't have one, but typically you have like I don't know what you would call them, a orator or something like that, a person that's like reading whatever topic is going to be, then the two people kind of get
Oh,
their feedback.
yeah, I don't know what that's
Yeah,
called either. If anyone knows, please put it
I
in the
know, but I
chat.
can't think of it right now.
Okay. It'll
But
come
that's
back in like 26 minutes. She'll be like, wait, wait,
right.
wait.
Yeah, so we go from there, and then what we try to do with the news, we try to pick like some of the biggest things that people be interested in, and also stuff that affects like people in their everyday life. So when we cover the Change Healthcare breach, or when we cover Striker, or when we cover some stuff that's happening with United Healthcare, or different apps that people are using, or recently we just covered Crunchyroll, what happened with them, and then there are the times where outside of just the cyber news part of it, there is like, hey, watch out for these scams on the rise. So we bring security awareness people about Microsoft Teams or job scams, or also, hey, if you're at work, don't fall for click fix and things of that nature. And we always kind of bring it back down to like the common sense of security. And I'm one of the people now. I think what makes it easier for me is that I've been working in the blue team almost 10 years now. So a lot of times
That's
when
right.
I'm
You're a
discussing,
practitioner too. Sorry to interrupt,
yeah,
but you're also like you're a practitioner today.
yes.
So can you, I know you can, I don't think you can really disclose much about that, but can you, just to set the stage, and sorry to interrupt, but just to tell us a little bit
Hmm.
about your like also cyber experience. And Jake and Monique, I see your questions. We're gonna get to them in one sec.
Yeah, so I got my first cybersecurity job in 2017. And so, like I said, next year I'll make 10 years just being in security operations and incident response. I did a little bit of GRC. I worked over, so my first job was actually at a security company for McAfee. So at the time, well, actually before it was McAfee, it was Intel. So Intel had owned McAfee and they split. So technically I worked for Intel and McAfee, technically.
Hmm.
And from there, I went to work for MSS Optiv. So I was at Optiv for almost 4 years. Then I got into finance. So I worked for some of the bigger names, the Goldman Sachs and JPMCs. I won't say the current employer, but so the
A
last couple
bank,
of years I've been
maybe.
in finance. And now I do instant response security operations. So anything from responding to third party breaches, typical vulnerability management stuff. And we have some CVEs that possibly might have been exploited in the environment, some type of threat hunting. We have interesting social engineering things that we kind of go through, mentoring other analysts using cool tools like a Splunk or CrowdStrike. If anybody's watched my show, they know how much I rave about Wiz. So talk about Wiz a lot, Tanium, Proofpoint, pretty much all those different things. And once you work internally in Blue Team, you start seeing like so many different things. So many different things you get exposed to. And I'm
Right.
able to always tie it to something. And whether I'm interviewing for a role or when I'm on the show, when I'm saying
Oh,
this will come in like this, or this is how you feel, or, you know, a lot of young analysts, a lot of first things they say was, "Oh, I'm just gonna throw it in ViroTotal. If it says it's good, it's good. If it says it's bad, it's bad." And then I kind of break down of why you can't always trust that, and you have to go see why something is bad or good for yourself.
so Jake asked, how do you curate your sources? And I'll ask because I know you said you had your Slack, you have your Slack community
Hmm.
where you're pulling in RSS feeds, but also one of those sources is just your day-to-day life working in the SOC, right? Like you see stuff and
Hmm.
you have this very, I don't know, remember the word, but the fruitful loop of, hey, the experience feeds the content and the research for the content feeds the experience.
Hmm.
So you have this amazing sort of it like works in perfect synchrony is what I'm trying to say. There's a phrase, I don't remember the phrase. So, but
Asynchronous
yeah, it's like it's all working together. Oh my gosh, okay.
or in sync,
So,
maybe. Justin
yes.
Timberlake.
Thank you. NSYNC. That's exactly what I was talking about. Jake wants to know how you created your Slack sources. So how do you know like how to pull, where do you find your good info?
So most of the time it's Bleeping Computer, TechCrunch, Krebs on Security. NIST has a site where they send stuff at. I would have to even look at my Discord to see like all the different ones. But I typically like anything I come across and they like give me some good stuff. I would find a RSS feed hopefully, and then I send it in. And so that's what I used to do. Now I put that in Discord, so it's literally like the same things that's going in there now. So even if we may get something from like the Wall Street Journal or something, reading it through there. And the other part is I may do two things. One, well, also X/Twitter,
Hmm.
Threads, Reddit. Those are all people that may be talking about some things. And then I'll look through YouTube and see, how important of a topic is, or do I feel like it'll be evergreen? And even if it may not get the traction now, people will come back to it later. And so that's kind of typically what happens. But like the bigger the name recognition and the bigger the name, it's always a lot of buy-in when it comes to this engagement of the people trying to figure out what's going on. Like I remember when we covered like one of the AT&T breaches, and we were both talking about how Aura notified us before AT&T ever did of the breach. And so I'm always like I always try to for my content, if a company or something wants me to like either they want to sponsor something or tell me about it, I definitely always try to figure out outside of it's something enterprise wide, but if it's something for an end
Right.
user, like I'm using it and I find it to be useful, and most of my audience knows that I will only mostly promote stuff I actually like believe is actually good, and that's why like conversion rate would be great on things like that because of that very reason.
Right. People trust you. I mean, that's the point of working with a creator who has a strong voice, right? Who's out there. People trust you. They watch you for years on your pod. I bet you have listeners who've been watchers who've been watching from 2020. They've
Yeah,
almost, it's interesting because we started also in 2020. So it's like people have grown up with you, right? They see your success, they see you growing in your channels, and they want you to succeed. And they also trust
yeah,
you because they've spent a lot of time with you.
right, right.
Um, what Monique has some questions about metrics, right? So
Mhm.
because you were starting to tell us about how your podcast and your show and your content has evolved over time. So you started with interviews and then you're doing it now you have a bunch of different stuff, like all sorts of content. But now the show is more like news and like kind of a commentary thing mixed
Mhm.
in with that. Um, how are you measuring the engagement? What are the metrics to know how to improve the engagement and to show your success? Like, so what are you tracking from a metrics perspective?
Great question. So it's twofold. So for audio purposes, I'm just looking through my downloads and seeing if it's doing better off the side of knowing how to even make audio grow on its own. It's very much different from YouTube.
Yeah,
YouTube, I pay attention to how many likes is it, comments, of course the views. They have a thing called CTR, click through rate. If it's high, if it's low, I'll go through and see like, hey, how many people are here? After 30 seconds, when do they drop off?
yeah.
So, and also the biggest thing too, thumbnails. Like thumbnails is like the biggest thing to me as well. It's like the art of just getting people to click. And what I've been able to do with the inception of AI, I've learned to prompt Gemini as my pretty much YouTube advisor. So
Oh,
I'll
you
make
know,
so go
Gemini
ahead.
would be the YouTube advisor because it's Google, right? So that'd be the
Yeah,
best one. I'm sorry, keep going.
no, you're fine because no, Gemini is actually now built in the background of YouTube Studio. So a lot of times I will say, hey, out of these last 50 episodes with Cyber Shorty and I, what were the numbers? Give me the numbers and let me see, I look at from everything from the thumbnail, how long the video. So I may pay attention to, okay, hey, everybody is liking when we are like at an hour 30, maybe hour 50. Sometimes, 2 hours may be better for the live stream versus the pre-recorded. So it's a lot of different things I'm looking at to get better. Like, one of the things I'm working on pretty soon is getting both of us some what's the things called teleprompters. So therefore, now when we're kind of delivering the news, it'll be more like when you're watching the show on the news, and
Right.
it'll be in your face. It's more engaging if I'm looking like this versus looking down at my computer. So there's like this little things that I pay attention to and that I pick up from other shows that I watch that's not tech related.
But in our so yeah, so there's definitely an element of like, I mean, again, like look at my background versus your background. Like you're like this is a what you have is much more interesting and better looking than this. So the teleprompter is going to up level like the content experience, right? It's going to make it
Right.
like more credible, more newsworthy, et cetera, et cetera. But you did say in our scoping call that you started on your iPhone, right? Or on your phone.
Yeah, I started on my
So
Google Pixel.
Google Pixel, right. So for anyone who's aspiring to create content, you would probably advise not to like invest in a lot of tech and a lot of toys.
Absolutely, because it is not a big payoff in the beginning unless you have, a machine behind you. Honestly, to be honest, there are people that are much bigger than me and they have regular backgrounds. It's not anything fancy, but people like the content. So I will obviously say just focus on the content. One of the things that can help you out early on in your content journey is scripting out some of your episodes. That way you can go through the episode or video you're going to make, and then you can read and see if someone will get some value from that. And if you don't feel like it, then just start over. And now with the inception of AI can also help you out with your scripts. It can help you out with like so many things. Like you need to work on a hook to hook the audience in. Like for YouTube, that's like the biggest thing. Thumbnail, hook the audience in, good audio. They don't really care too much. Like even if I'm shooting on a Sony camera now, but if I was just shooting on a regular Logitech, Brio or something like that, they don't really care about that as much as if they got on the video and they couldn't hear me.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of
Yeah.
the biggest things I see. Like sometimes for a lot of creators, I'm like, audio is so important to the viewing experience because a lot of times, unless you have a video where you have like different B-roll coming in like every 3 to 4 seconds, so people just have to be looking at it. A lot of people use YouTube where they're doing stuff in the house and they have it open just
Yes,
like you
it's a
would listen to a
background.
podcast. So if
It's
your audio is
background.
not good, that's going to hinder you. And say, I really can't understand. I got to turn it all the way up and I still can't hear them. So that's one of the biggest things that I made sure to invest in. I had a interview guest, it was a couple of months ago, and he was like, man, this is the best mic that I heard myself on like ever. And so much so that after that, he literally called me like, hey, what do I need to get for my studio? And it was simple stuff that most people have, but I tried to sound treat this room and that's why I have this filter on here just to make it sound even better.
And that's exactly why at the beginning you weren't on yet, Henri, but I was like, can everyone hear me? Like, can you hear? That matters so much. People are probably
Yes.
like checking email, they're probably on LinkedIn, they're
Hmm.
probably cooking something. If you're doing something else, let us know. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, and if the audio is bad, let us know, audience, always. Um, Anonymous sent us a question. What are the best performing thumbnails?
Oh man, that is a good question. I think it depends on topic and niche. Like you could have, because believe it or not, some of my best performing thumbnails are quite simple. So you literally could have a black background, your face or whatever your subject's going to be, with like 2 or 3 words. You really don't want to put too many words on your thumbnail. You do not want to restate the title on your thumbnails. It's cardinal sin. There's no purpose of putting your title on the thumbnail because it's like, okay, well, what's the allure if they're going to go through and see that? So it depends. Like for us, we do like a lot of two people face thumbnails on the left side and where we have something in the center, where it's like kind of doing that authority thing. And then if we're doing like if it's a solo topic that one of us had, I'll try to have our face solo with whatever the thing is and some type of text that may just get you intrigued by it. So for me, it's been that, and then it was also doing the black background, my face, with like making some type of expression and like two
You
words,
do one
like
of these.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay, so
I have one like that for like WGU because I did it purposely, and like it's a simple. It's not. It's like it's nothing. It's nothing I paid that editor for. Like I've used YouTube thumbnail makers before, and they actually are pretty great. But you don't sometimes you don't have the money for that. So now, if you learn how to prompt enough, and I don't really always like using it, but these AI tools can help you with thumbnails. But sometimes if you uploading your face, it'll look different. I actually just tried this out with like a video I posted. I was like, that don't really look like me. But let's see how it works if people click on it or not.
that is yeah, I've had someone make me like an AI and it like really slimmed my face down. I was like, okay, that looks very great, but like that's not what I actually look like. So let's just use a picture, please.
Yeah.
Okay, Cassidy has a question for you. What's I like this one. Who do you personally follow and admire who's a content creator? Like, and what do you most admire about them?
Yeah. So when I first started, I actually got a lot of inspiration from Dewan Lightfoot. So his name used to be Lab Every Day on YouTube at the time. This was like 6 years ago. I want to say he had like 50,000 subs or something like that at the time. And I was, he was talking about networking and it was cool. It was him authentic. It was trustworthy. It was honest. And I really looked up to him a lot. And I mean, of course, we have like a relationship as well now. So we talk from time to time. So him, back then, it might have been Zach Hill with his IT career questions channel. And then as I started progressing, I've met like a lot of great creators. Kev on Tech with his help desk stuff.
Hmm.
My guy Josh, Keep It Techie, talking about nothing but Linux. Um, Let me see who else I have. I think I saw next week you guys will have Pat on here, so we've got a chance to talk
Yes.
before. I really like. I don't get a chance to tune in a lot, but I definitely like Gerald Audra's content. I used to watch a lot of
Oh
his stuff
yeah.
in the past. So Gerald, also my guy Antoine Wade, he has like a if you guys want to know about business, stocks, AI, and all that kind of stuff, like every week, like he has a thing called the Wade Report where he goes live like every day. And he has a background like enterprise sales, so it's pretty cool. Similar to my style, but kind of different. And I also gotta take my guys from Hacker Valley, Ron and Chris.
Ron and Chris, we love Ron and Chris from Hacker Valley. Sorry to interrupt. Ron Eddings and Chris Cochran from Hacker Valley are amazing. They launched our podcast actually. So
Yeah.
myself and my co-founder Maria, um, they launched our Breaking Through in Cybersecurity Marketing. We were on their network before we were on the CyberWire network, and they're
Mhm.
just incredible. And they have such a good eye for like quality. Like you see the
Yes.
stuff that Ron creates, and it's like when it's just him in his room, and I'm like, wow, that looks like a $20,000 studio. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
And yeah,
Um,
definitely. That's what I always kind of focused on early on. Like even when I only had the back part of my camera, I learned about the stuff that some people say it's so hard now, but I took my time. I learned about lighting. I learned about lenses, focal length, distance, how to separate myself from the background, like all the different stuff. I learned how you can make a small space seem big. So I really did invest a lot of time in it. So where I was like, I'm going to try to operate as much as a premium show as I can. So if
Mhm.
someone does come along, there's like this guy really takes pride in like what he puts out, and it's not just a money grab. So I would like to work with the person like that versus somebody who I can tell that's not trying to get better with every recording.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And that's the thing too, because as a creator, you work with brands, right? This is why we're bringing you on our show and on our network. It's that marketers and brands want to learn and work with like really quality creators. So that's awesome to hear that. It's about investing, right, in the quality of content. So that's awesome. Let's talk a little bit more about engagement and driving engagement. And anyone, feel free to put comments in the chat. Keep sending in questions to the poll in the Q&A box or however you want. Um, so you had mentioned on the scoping call, and this is really interesting. A big guest doesn't guarantee performance, right? It's like a big name. So what actually like does? And that's like a big question. It's
Um,
kind of like and what is the answer to life in the universe? So what like makes overall great performance on a video?
a good conversation and a good title. I think those two. Bigger than that, those are good conversation. So I've had people that no one probably know like where they have maybe less than 1,000 followers on Instagram, let alone maybe they only have that, but the conversation is so engaging. People like that. Whereas the bigger name people, the conversation won't necessarily um, bad, but sometimes it may not be able to be as authentic as typically as my guests are used to. So like
Oh,
sometimes if I have to work on like a controlled time frame, it doesn't get us the chance to just get real nuanced and just talk free flow. Where I had one episode with my friend Bryson Ross where it was video pretty much. It was like giving his experience as being an IT director at Netflix. And of course that did well because oh, Netflix. People are researching Netflix on YouTube. And but our episode was almost 3 hours long. I cut down so much that's not on YouTube, but it was so engaging and people wanted to hear what he had to talk about because a lot of people want to work at a fame company.
yeah.
So that part's interesting. And then, sometimes with some of my guests, they may be more on security, but they may have started their business. So some of our stuff may be talking about business and everything else. So sometimes maybe that's not all my demos interested in, and they're trying to figure out, okay, how do I get from A to B, or I'm already here, how do I get to the next level? And so it's those kind of things. That's why a lot of times if I get pitched or these virtual assistants are reaching out to me, I'll go through and look at who the person is and what their specialty is and what they want to talk about. And I'll like, if I had a different channel, maybe we could do it. But I was like, it really doesn't probably make sense to just have them on the show just because I've did some of these different type of episodes in the past and they didn't perform well. And that's not necessarily to say that it wasn't good. It's just not what people come to the channel for. And that's like the other thing that sometimes people have to understand when they're making YouTube content. Sometimes you either got something evergreen or it's just something that may not work well on your channel. And you may have to have certain conversations on a whole separate channel so that can start getting pushed out to people who are interested in those topics and that will come there for that.
Oh, that's so interesting. So as, more representing the brand side of the house, that's so interesting because as companies will start like some media with like an idea in mind of what they want they want to target CISOs or they want to target like GRC, etc. And then opportunities arise, as I'm sure they arise with you, to do like an interesting kind of side quest thing. So you're suggesting that people create like a separate brand or a separate channel just for those side quests.
Yeah, if they can, because sometimes it just may not work. Like I know a lot of people too they feel that YouTube is like so saturated. And it's really not the case. YouTube doesn't really prioritize if you have the biggest channel or the smallest channel. And I know that to be true because the algorithms changed. And so I've been doing things to get back how I was probably like 2 years ago versus kind of what it is now. Whereas I have a friend of mine, she has a company where she shows people how to work corp to corp, and that way they can kind of replace their job and they can be fractional CEOs. And our episode on her channel, I think we might be at like 10K. She doesn't have 1,000 followers. At the time, she definitely didn't. But it just came from a good conversation. And I told her we should title it, and she listened, and it performed well. And so for the people that are watching this that are kind of on the fence, like, well, I only got 200 subscribers or this amount, if it's a good video and the content is good, people will come.
I love it. And I love that, that's what working with influencers and creators does it has ready-made channels for you to add your side content on if you choose to do that. Let's talk about that a little bit deeper. How, because it's about like working together. How can brands work with you, Henri, or how can brands partner with you to get their message out there? Like what do you take into consideration? How does it work?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is whatever product or service it is, um, what is it? I think that's the biggest thing. Though I think it's but I know in this instance, these would mostly be useful services or products. So this is kind of different from people that just send me these DMs and everything else about other stuff.
Do you get
Um,
weird DMs from folks? Do you get like random pitches that are
what
like,
type
what
of
is?
fake pitches you have to be careful of. I had one time it was a woman, she was acting like she worked for Logitech, and she kept trying to get me to click a link inside of X when we were talking back and forth. And I'm like, hey, send me an email. They would never send me an email. And
Yeah.
I would go to LinkedIn. I was like, this is not the same person. But I was just having fun playing around with it because, like, you're not going to get me. Because it was no way. Like, it was, I just threw a number out there. They agreed to it. I was like, that's too good to be true.
Right. If you're like a
But
million dollars and they're like, yeah, just click the link, Like
but yeah, but on the security side, actually just I'm familiar with like a lot of products, so products that work, and definitely products that probably could address like some of the things that's going on, like a lot of stuff that we have going on with AI. We made suggestions with all type of tools for AI that could be beneficial, especially for when we think about minors. So big thing on here, we talk about minors and safeguards and hey, why is there not like a children's version? Like we have YouTube Kids, why don't we have Claude Kids, ChatGPT Kids, all those different things
mm,
to kind of protect them because we are in an unprecedented time where kids are less social and they would rather talk to an AI bot about their problems than a real person or a therapist. And so the AI is just agreeing with them so much to where they do things that they shouldn't do because they're not fully developed yet. So I just look out for a lot of just different proactive things. And if they want to work with me, they can send me an email. My email is typically in the description, but I'll say it here so they can hear it. But it's Henry Davis at the textualtalk.com, and textual is TECHTUAL talk.com. And yeah, that's pretty much what I look for. Like I'm I think it just works well, especially like I said, from being from a practitioner. I think that's just one of the things that does separate me from other creators is I've been a practitioner for a long time and I've
you're still
had
a practitioner. I think
yeah,
that yeah, I think some folks, they graduate from being a practitioner and they become a full-time creator, but you are currently like still a practitioner and that's pretty
yeah.
cool.
And even if I went that route, I would definitely still lean into being some type of security consultant. Like if stuff in the line where brands wanted me to do so much stuff and I couldn't probably work a traditional, I definitely still would want to be a consultant because I've just seen so many different things in enterprise environments that I still have a lot of expertise that I could dish out.
That's awesome. Monique wants your email. If maybe Yulia, if you got the email or want to reach out to
I
Monique
can let me see, I
or
can type it
Henry.
real quick.
Yeah, if you want to type it. Sorry. I heard it. I didn't write it out. Awesome.
Yeah. And also on our website, thetextualtalk.com, I think there is a section for people to reach out and email and stuff like that as well. They'll get routed. They'll get routed to one of my other textual emails.
I love this. We only have about 15 minutes left. So I want to also ask you about your community that you run because your content and, you, Henri, and the stuff you created, like it's more than just like one way media. Like I've seen some of your live streams and it's just like popping. Like the chat is like people are like posting. And you also have a Slack, etc. So can you tell us a little bit more about the community stuff that you do?
Sorry about that. My phone has been, I thought I put
That's
everything on
okay.
D&D. It's been going off the hook over here. But yeah, like that's the other part of the content because like I was telling you when we did like the kind of prepare for this call, like I say the stuff that people don't want to say. Like even just recently on LinkedIn, I'll do a funny type of way. Like I think I just told people, hey, you don't need all these cybersecurity certifications. You don't have to be Ash Ketchum trying to catch them all because truth be told, when the recruiter sees your resume, they see all these different certs, they see different paths. So they don't even know if you want to do the job you're applying to. So I try to get people to keep it simple, stupid. That's my method. I
Hmm.
recently started a Discord. What was that last year? We started Discord. So we have some people in there to where, they can mingle with some of my professional friends. They could, message me. Typically we have people posting job postings in there and a whole bunch of different things. And I just try to build like some organic stuff. And then outside of that, the last 6 years I've been helping people get into the industry. And as the industry has changed, I've also changed some of the ways that I help people get in, but the tried and true methods always stay the same. And I just try to, a lot of things too that I do now is even outside of just the novice. Now I'm working with people who are in security. A lot of people are in security, like they'll be level one SOC analysts, and they want to either go in incident response or they want to go be level 2 or 3. But a lot of times at their company, one, you may be stuck in their range and they'll have a way to train you. Or two, based on what you do, you just won't get there. You'll be stuck in that mindset. So I do that as well as helping people. And I have on my LinkedIn page, it's pinned. It's like my free cybersecurity analyst interview questions. And you can do those questions. And, once you see them, you can see for yourself, do I know this? Do I don't? Maybe I need to study some more. And
Hmm.
so I do that. I push for people to get certifications like Blue Team Level 1 just because it is a practical certification. I really believe in more practical experience, and I'm an advocate for the hiring of the industry to change. If I just recently clipped up a part from my last live stream about, hey, um, the young man was on Roblox and they learned how to hack into Power School. And for my people who have children, you use that to register them and pay for fees and things like that. So they were able to get a lot of PII from people who use Power School and they haven't went to college yet. They don't have a degree. They don't have 5 years experience. And so I said, why we have all these parameters on people getting into the industry, when if you just actually show them how to do it, they can they can get in. So I actually think if someone can steal this idea, a lot of friends of mine I have, they are making their own ed tech companies where they have cyber ranges and are doing these things. But if there could ever be like an official bridge. Like you're a novice over here, and then this is the company. But these are the companies that they would take accept training from. So therefore, kind of like a trade in a sense. Like you could go to trade
Yeah,
school and then start working.
like an
So in a sense, like
apprenticeship.
yeah. So it's like, why am I going back to school to learn about English and British Lit when I just took that in high school? I could go right here and then I could actually go to a credible place that could train me. These people, they are, they could teach people about NIST and everything else, or the blue team, or how to be a threat hunter, whatever they want to do. And now, when they apply to a job, they say, "Oh, you went to Textual Chatter's training academy. Okay, we know this
Mm.
person knows what to do. Let's talk to them." And that will fix and I honestly do not believe there is a gap of cybersecurity professionals. I just think that the requirements are crazy. And this is a hot take, but it's also a way to get people to get certs, go to school, and all these other
Oh,
things
oh, we're
to
getting
keep
claps.
to keep the circle keep going. That's one of the ways to do it. Because you try to say that, oh, we have all these jobs in the field or whatever. And I'm like, well, you do, but then you have all these people that want the jobs, or they go through the interview process, the job gets closed, or in 3 months they see the same role open. So it's just a lot of stuff that the US needs that like that UK and that they have. We need a lot of that stuff over here for the
Yeah,
workers.
they have more apprenticeship style programs in
Yeah,
the like
we
for
need
not
that.
just like trades, but other like white collar stuff too. So,
Yeah, they're going to need it
yeah.
because with all the stuff that they are wasting money on with the AI and trying to, get rid of the jobs I think some people need, as simple as a cashier or something in a retail store. What are these people going to do?
Yeah, that's true. They're all gonna have to learn cybersecurity. So Henri, for your community too, can you tell us a little bit about your audience? Like what types of folks are following your media channels or in your community? You said, there's entry level, but then there's people who are more established in their career.
Yeah, so from LinkedIn, I think I had like C-levels directors. Of course, I had people who are like maybe mid to senior. So I had those avatars that definitely follow me on LinkedIn. And then it's a little bit harder to see on YouTube. I just know like my
Yeah,
demos are primarily 85% male, 15% female from the ages of 25 to 44. That's like the primary ages.
it's a
And then we have
pretty
like some,
big group of people.
yeah. Yeah, I
Sorry,
lump
keep
them in. Like
going.
the biggest is like 25, I think, to 34, then it's like 34 to 44. Then after that, like it kind of gets more sporadic, but for the most it's like US watchers in that time frame. But yeah, like typical people I have like worked with in the past have either not been in IT or they've been in IT, or I've had people that's been in 10 years and they can't get over the hump. So it actually varies. Like I said, I've worked with directors. I haven't had any C-level people yet, but I definitely plan on getting some more C-level people on the show soon. Actually, I have a nice guest coming up eventually. Once we announce that one, I think that'd be pretty
Oh,
cool.
I thought you were gonna announce here. Oh, okay.
I have to. Only reason I'm not, because I have to make sure like some of them come up and then have. So we haven't. If we shot it, then I probably would say, hey, I have an episode with
Yeah.
such and such. I just said they work for like a big tech company. They are a woman and they were a CISO of like another company like 2 years ago, and then like made like a lot of news. So I'll just say
Cool.
that, and people could probably just try to guess who and figure out.
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT who it is based on that. Um, okay, more questions on engagement because we're getting close to time and this is really interesting. And I can see why your podcasts are so long and yet have so many views. So, right, you guys have like I was looking at your show and it's like 2 hours long. Like an episode is like 2 hours long. You mentioned a 3 hour long episode. Like, how can you keep that momentum up? Like, what throughout the episode do you do to make sure people don't just like, I don't want to say doze off, but like be like, okay, like that's enough and like have to go.
So in my DNA, I am a certified yapper. I come from a family of a long line of yappers. So honestly, to tell you guys the truth, sometimes we get to almost 2 hours, and I'm like, we were just heating up. But it really just depends on constraints and if some of us, if we have to do something. But I try to work in the confines. But honestly, it's just fun. Like one of those shows, I don't watch it as much as I used to, but I was a big fan of the Joe Budden podcast. So sometimes this stuff is 2, 3 hours long, and you're just talking. So that's what I said. I try to make it like we're just talking. I try to deliver the content in a way that it's not so over someone's head that they can't hear something they understand. And so with that being in mind, I think that's the reason why we could just keep the momentum up. And the other reason why I make them so long is the longer I can make the show, the more side videos I can have to cut up and put out as content. So I can
Okay, that's
repurpose it.
how when you make a 2 hour long episode, how much repurposed content comes out of that? Like how many things can you make out of one piece of content? And marketers want to know this because we have to produce content all day, every day. And
Yeah,
sometimes we run out.
so let me see, because I'll look at my YouTube right now. Like even because there's some that I even haven't put out yet, but they're already clipped up in the background. I just have to upload them. So for example, for my last live stream, I posted one, two, three, four um, repurposed videos, and I think I have a couple of more just to repost. So it depends on how many topics we have. Do the topics get into subtopics where I just break that clip down to something else? But that's where it is, especially if it's a big week of like a lot of crazy stuff that's
It was like
happening.
last week, Jesus, like so much went on. Sorry, keep going.
No, 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 you're totally fine. But that's literally how I can do it. And like now, so I do one or two. It's easier actually now with my setup. I have the Rodecaster over here, and I have like the Video Caster S. So a lot of times people don't know that when Destiny and I are here, I'm switching back and forth. Now it has an auto switching feature, but sometimes it's not as accurate as I would like. So I'm just doing it from right here. Therefore, I cut down on my editing time. And then now I can just go into I can use the show notes and say, okay, this is when we talked about this. I can just go cut that out. I can do that route, or I have AI tools that can make those repurposed videos, and I can just put them out that way as well.
What AI tools do you like? Alicia wants to also know if you do your own video editing or do you work with someone to do it?
So I'll answer the second question first because it's the easiest one. I edit everything. In the past, I've worked with some editors, but they can't get the turnaround time to me. Like I like to get my stuff out fast. I don't unless it's like a video that where I'm doing something to launch a product. I like to get my stuff out quick because if I'm covering current news, I don't need to record on Sunday and then put stuff that happened from last week out on next Thursday. That's kind of defeating the purpose of what we did. So that's another reason why we just opted, hey, let's just make it a live show where people can interact with us and we can react in real time. And then AI tools is I use Opus and I use another tool called QSO.ai from time to time. And so with Opus, I can just upload the live stream straight there and then it can spit it out. And then I also can do it in a horizontal format if I want to. But I like QSO AI better for that because it puts stuff in chronological order. And so I can just sometimes it won't make it as long as it needs to be, but I say, okay, this is that part, and I just piece them together on the back end if I have to. And then I use Gemini a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
I prompt Gemini to say, hey, you're an expert YouTube content creator. Please analyze this thumbnail and this title and give me like five alternative thumbnails. And so I analyze it, tell me what it likes, what it doesn't like, gives me some titles, and then allow most people should have this now on YouTube Studio. They have the option that you can A/B test everything. So you can tell me do like three thumbnails or three different titles, and it'll test out which one wins.
I love it. We have some more questions. So I'm gonna have to speed through these because we got like 3 minutes left. So one question is how fast is this turnaround?
Uh, Pretty fast. And then I guess I would need more information on that. Like I think like
I
Saturday I
think they
have to.
want to know like so you record and then
Mm-hmm,
maybe there's a hot like maybe it's like mythos, right? Like that was really hot like this week,
mm-hmm.
last week. Um, you record your episode. How fast do you put the clips out? How fast do you put out like additional
Okay.
content?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
fast do you
So
publish? Yeah.
on the so right now we've chosen Sundays to do go live because nobody's going live at that time, and so people are home. Now that may change when football season comes because it may be a little different. Just depends on what the audience reacts to. But typically, I'm putting the clips out on Monday and Tuesday, and then that's not even talking about like the short form stuff where I'm putting that out. I'm listening to it and I'm figuring out, this will work good. I don't like the hook here. Let me kind of change it a little bit and then put this out so it can work.
Love it. Monique has another question. How do you make technical, and this marketers have this challenge. How do you make technical content understandable, engaging, and relevant um, to the technical audience? So not to the non-technical audience, but to the technical audience who already know like a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So like for example, one time, I think it was even my last episode, and we were talking about the dark web. And so the way I explained it to my audience was, I said, hey, if any of you have seen Lion King, I said, you remember Mufasa told Simba, hey, anything the light touches, you can access. I said, that's the regular internet. Everything that the light doesn't touch, that's the dark web. And so I just made it like something simple enough that they can understand it because he said, hey, you must never go there. So you don't really need to be on the dark web unless you know what you're doing. So that's kind of like one of the easier ways I do it. Or I just try to do layman's terms when we get to talking about identity and access or firewalls or something like that. I'm talking about, hey, you're at your house. You know who you expect to come to your house, who shouldn't come to your house. For those people that don't have a key, you're typically checking everybody that comes into your house. You're making sure you got all your windows closed and your back doors closed and all the stuff that they can't get in. And so giving people the things that they can actually visualize is like an easier way. Or if I have someone online that is they're trying to answer one of my SOC analyst questions, a lot of times they freeze up if I ask them about some unusual authentication. So I reel them in. I said, hey, you have a bank app or whatever. Say you got a new phone. A lot of times you try to log on, your banker will send you an email or text like, hey, we just got to log in from this device. Is this you? Is it not you? I say this is the same thing you would see on the SIM side of like seeing unusual authentication. It's trying to say, hey, I don't recognize this location this person's come from. Look into
Yeah.
it or reach out to the user if you can.
I love it. This one's a very quick one. Would you consider yourself an entertainment company, like entertainment media?
We try to be funny sometimes.
Okay.
So
Is it
I definitely don't.
successful?
I think so. The people come, we
Be funny
crack our
if you're
little
like,
jokes.
no, it's pretty, we're not great at jokes.
We crack our little one-liners, and so that's the whole benefit of, like, that's the whole reason why the in-person thing here, we're laughing at something, or, like, it's gotten to the point where chemistry is so good. So sometimes her and me are thinking about the same thing. We may say it on the mic, and that's like another part of it. So
I love it. Last question. If a marketer who's on the show today leaves the session and they want to improve their content immediately, what are the top like two or three or one, if we run out of time, things they should start doing differently?
repeat the first part of it to me one more time.
Sure. If a marketer leaves this session today and they want to improve their content immediately, they're inspired, they're like, I'm going to do better. What would be like the top few things you would suggest off the bat? And I'm sure you've seen cybersecurity brand content. So
Yeah.
think of it that way.
So I would say, for one, audio, because I mentioned that before. I
Hmm.
don't, and then it depends on where you're posting. I mean, granted, you could do cover photos on TikTok and Instagram. So definitely your thumbnail needs to be good. It needs to be something that makes people want to click and watch it. The first part of your video should hook someone in, whether it's something funny, whether it's something cool you thought that'd be from the episode to put at the front. You can do that. And also be engaging. Try to add a little bit of personality to what you're doing. Or if that's not you, because everybody is not like the most animated person. I'm not even the most animated person. I just try
Yeah.
to insert. So I try to have different vocal inflections when I can, if I'm trying to just get people to wake up. Or I have, like, I haven't played anything on my soundboard. Let me see if I have anything. Like, I have like different things that I could play. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So, like, when we're
So
when we're
sound
live,
effects.
yeah, when we're live, I'm doing like all these different things to just keep people engaged and help them
I
out.
love
But
that. I'm gonna ask you, Henri, can we ask you for your tech list after this show? Can we share with that?
yeah, I've actually been meaning to. That's something
You should make a blog
Tess and I've
post.
been
I'll
talking
share
about.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
a video.
we'll definitely do that, because I definitely
Okay.
have some stuff that I like, especially this new soundboard like that I've been using on a Mac. I love it. And
Awesome.
I would say, if you're not the person that's the most engaging or talk with your hands or really excited, get good at, like, just putting B-roll in different places of your video to help you out. Like, honestly, as long as the information is great, nobody's really going to care. Like, for example, Josh Medicor is the best at that. When you listen to his videos, he's not like this very so much charismatic guy or whatever, but he's getting
Right.
straight to the point. He's delivering it to you, and he's giving you value. That's the key word I want you to take from this whole conversation. If you deliver value in the content, it'll work. And it
I
doesn't
love
matter
it.
whether it's 100 people or 100,000 people. It's gonna find who it needs to find.
I love it. Okay, very last one. It's a yes or no question. Do people ask you for technology tool recommendations?
Yes.
Cool. I think marketers like to hear that. Folks, this has been a fabulous, fabulous conversation. Henri, thank you so much for taking your time. You are like, I'm like starstruck. So I'm very, 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 very grateful that you took your time. Thank you, Yulia. Thank you, audience, for coming. We're going to have replays. We're going to take some takeaways from this video, make a blog, put it on the podcast. And you know what? We're even going to cut up some content. We're going to try to do it really fast because I am inspired. Henri, thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you. And everybody, if you're on watching the webinar right now, just tune in to us on Sunday. We'll be live talking about all the big stuff that happened this week.
I love it. We're going to send a link to the Textual Talk podcast out and also to the YouTube. And have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you on our next Ask Me Anything with a Creator with Patrick Gorman. We cannot wait. This has been fabulous. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great day. See you.